3, 2, and welcome in TNCradio.live. We are live on a Friday night, June the 9th, 2023. And you're listening to Driver Nation right here on TNCradio.live simulcast on YouTube on the Rideshare Rodeo channel. So if you want to watch us, you're not driving, come on into the Rideshare Rodeo channel. If you're out driving right now and you just want to listen in, now is your opportunity to do that on TNCradio.live. Don't get caught driving around with your phone up watching us on YouTube. That's not a good idea.
Or if you're driving, watch us on Roku.
Yeah.
Don't do that either.
Actually, you can.
I know, but don't watch us if you're driving ever.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
We're not that pretty.
We're really not. We're really not.
Well, at least two of us aren't.
Right.
I know. But you guys are pretty good looking.
Josh says I'm going to blow his ears out with a loud entrance. Am I got it too loud again, guys? I don't touch it.
But actually, I don't know. I turned my volume down.
So. Actually, that time I didn't even notice it.
Okay.
Maybe I've just become
it's down low. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think part of it, guys, is just the connection between the radio stuff that Tom does and this. And I don't even know. I mean, it's probably fixable, but it's probably like something that would take the three of us like hours to figure out what's going on.
So just watch out when I press the buttons. Okay. And I'll mention too, right after this program, if you want to hang around on TNCradio.live, I'm going to be with the girls from the 32 Truckers a Day. That's a support group. 32 Truckers a Day attempt suicide. So on Friday nights, they try to do something fun and entertaining for the drivers. So tonight we're going to have a competition voting on what is the most annoying song of all time.
Well, we know Steve's going to come with something with Mariah Carey's Christmas.
No, it's Don McLean.
Who?
Don McLean?
It's American Pie.
Oh my gosh. I don't think it's on our list of our top 16. But okay. All right. I won't even
Don't touch it. Don't touch it because I'm going to defend it.
I'm going to leave it there. And we'll worry more about that kind of stuff some other time. After all, you probably don't even want to know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if I could trade in Don McLean for an album, I'd trade that whole album in. And I don't even listen to her, but that Mariah Carey Christmas album, it's what I think. Like, I never have agreed with book burnings, but I believe there should be one of those.
Well, there's only one Christmas song that made it on our list this year, at least so far.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
You know, that's not annoying the first time I hear it through the year.
Yeah.
But it's played so much.
Right.
Yes, it's played so much in a single day, not even a week, a single day.
Yeah.
That it drives.
And he was going to start some crap there.
Yeah.
They're like, "What do you hate Americana too?" Like,
yeah, really. The communist or whatever. All right,
Tom, we agreed you wouldn't talk about it on
the we've got a great list of stories and discussions and so forth tonight, Steve, and they're all interesting. A couple of them tie in together. What would you like to start? You want to just go in order from the top?
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, one thing that I think first I want to, because I know you're going to want to plug something here too, but I want to plug Curry Curry they onboarded a few friends. I have one person left, and he happens to be in here, and that's it, guys. That is my last favor. Is going to be Tony. Tony is my last favor.
Wait, how do you not have Tony yet? Like he's in your city.
Because this city was one of the first to build out on Curry, and we have not onboarded anybody.
Yeah, I don't care. You should push for them,
but they don't
every
even,
time you talk to them.
but they haven't even, dude, honestly, we haven't even had a session. Like most of the cities have sessions.
Gary, if he puts Tony in, that's competition for him.
No way. I want Tony on. I can't take all the, Gary knows this. I can't take all the good orders, so I want Tony on this.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, Tony and I guess I have to give away a little something too. Tony and I are actually looking at doing a venture together with like a cargo van, like our own deal eventually, like not really app oriented so much, but just picking up work with cargo van. But that's a whole nother story. But I wanted to say that by the end of the year, Curry had put a $42 million funding round, which I'm not 100% familiar with how these sometimes work, but this one was, for whatever reason, when it hit it, and then they wouldn't be taking anymore. They were trying to get it till the end of the year. They just hit it right now, like last month already. They were blown away. They did it in under half the time. And I've had like several people who did like Tim in St. Louis got reactivated because he had never taken one. He said he's seen more. He took his first one today and said he's seen more offers today in St. Louis on Curry than he had the whole year he had the app on. They've already, this 40 plus million is all allocated to picking up big clients. And even other apps have been saying, dude, Curry is the player now. So I'm giving you guys a big tip here right now that Curry is going to become something even larger than we're used to, and you're going to see it growing very big. Enough said. I know Josh B's in here too. I know he talks to Jesse, but I talked to a lot of people at Curry, and they're all talking the same page. And even what I just said, I'm allowed to say. So Alice gave me the go ahead.
Like, so are they going to take some of that 42 million and redesign this app?
Dude, Gary, I should send it to you because I have it uploaded as private, but I recorded a session where I evaluated the app, and it's the new app, and they actually took the home screen away. It's gone.
Good. I hate that. I
mean, I had some thoughts on where it lands, but regardless, Curry is doing amazing. It's awesome that they're doing this. And I wanted to jump into the article about by the way, Open Force and Ryder moving trucks. These guys, I've been wanting to get into a Sprinter van or something. This you can rent from all kinds of places. These two now have direct options to link on to gig work.
Yeah.
So when you rent them, they're already ready to do it. I wouldn't want to do it long term, but I want to do it to see the offers I get on a Sprinter van.
Right. Well, you know, Brian, Have It Your Way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he drives a van, and
dude, he drives a 1995 van.
Yeah, but he's still making, $400 a day.
I had him on the last mile, and dude, like he does great. I'm just saying, like, I mean, he does great in a 1995 cargo van. Most apps don't allow you to do that. You can't have something from 95.
I don't know. I got a little bitty car. Still don't get nothing on Curry.
Well, I'm right, but I mean, like, maybe your market becomes like what Tim Morris just saw in St. Louis today. Again, now they got this funding round is just to go after new clients, and the ones they do have are so well established that I don't know. I feel like Curry never screwed up in the way that I see so many other apps screw up, like spending too much or throwing it all at this or that. I felt like they just kind of went with the vibe. They've got good drivers who like to pay. People enjoy the platform. They come up with good gigs, and they've had some national clients and some local clients, but now they're ready to get some more national and go after a little more market share. But I don't know, still the app that treats me the best, still the app that pays me the best. And yeah, I know everybody over there, but even if I didn't and I was just working it, I would still say that. So
Suck up.
But my point is, guys, if you are doing courier, or if you're doing freight, or if you're doing point pickup, or I mean drop off, or any of these that do require that are last mile courier apps, you can go to OpenForce or Rider now and step up your game if you want to a cargo van and see the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna do it. I just don't know if I'm gonna do it through these two. But I'm now gonna price them out because I know they're doing this.
Sure.
So anyway, I just wanted people to know that if you're ever curious, like, that option exists.
Yeah.
So, and I just saw this article today, so that's why I really wanted to start. I mean, the other stuff that we've been talking about a lot is the DoorDash mass deactivations that are going on. I mean, craziness. Like, Nova Dasher got deactivated Monday. 21,000 lifetime dashes. I know there's more or claiming to be on some Facebook groups, but to be honest, I don't know anybody, including Mr. Flex, nobody who's done more dashes than Nova.
That's amazing.
And he got deactivated. He did not get the deactivation email, which is what I'm hearing from a lot of people. He just opened the app. You're deactivated. What? Like, I've got his stats right here. It's crazy. He has one like complaint in a year. What was it? I mean,
He had
like,
one contract violation. I know that.
Yeah, but big deal. Here it is. Okay. So one contract violation, 4.99, 19% acceptance rate, 99% completion, 96% on time or early, and 21,274 lifetime. And he got deactivated and can't find out why. My friend Mac in Portland has done 13,000 plus DoorDash deliveries. He got deactivated on Monday for no reason, no email. There's a lot of this going on. There's and everybody I know who's going through this right now, because let's face it, people are deactivated daily, but what the people I'm hearing from are all full-timers, which is it just has me thinking.
What? Tell me what you think.
What do you think?
I'm wondering if they're trying to get it to, like, okay, how 85% of gig workers are 17 hours or under. Obviously, that's under part-time. If they could get rid of, and now, even if you dispense it by not multi-apping, not being on the app so much, but just spending 17 hours on theirs, I'm wondering if you would do better. I'm wondering if it's not even top dasher oriented. I'm wondering if it's more political because of everything going on. If they could make everybody, they all work 17 hours and have another job, it's not going to carry as much weight.
Well, Nova wasn't full-time either, though. I mean, I guess you could.
To be honest, he was, though, because he drove over 35 hours a week.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not checking into your lives. Yeah. They're just seeing how many hours you're on the platform.
Right.
I think, to be honest, I believe they want the 7 to 14 hours. I think in a perfect world, everybody would work that many.
Do you think they're doing that just in case legislation hits?
Yeah, because I think that gives them a big fight to go, what do you mean they're all part-time?
Yeah, we got 95% part-time, yeah.
Right. Clearly, they can't be living on that money. They only work 14 hours a week.
Yeah, it's strange because, like, I've been looking at the Facebook groups too, and like I said, it's not just like one select part of the country either. It's all over.
Yeah, and I've heard everything from, like, with Mac, it was checker. It was a checker issue, and the checker issue really threw me off too because Mac lives in Portland, but he's from Idaho. He's from Boise. He has 10 kids. I always joke about Tony having 17, but Mac really has 10 and 7 grandchildren. So Mac has a lot of kids. But they moved from Boise to Portland. They've been there for 3 years. He has a Portland driver's license. He has Portland bills. They own their house. And every time he's been doing since 2017 gig work, all the apps that do background checks on him, no problem. So he says it's the first time ever DoorDash did a background check on him, including when he onboarded, because he said it was so long ago that he said then they didn't even do them.
Yeah, that's how it was whenever I onboarded too. They did not do background checks.
So he had never had one from DoorDash, and DoorDash supposedly between DoorDash and Checker, they deactivated him because they have no record of where he is for the past 3 years, because they have all of his records of Boise, but nothing after for the past 3 years. And he said, "You mean you don't have my ID from Oregon that I've uploaded multiple times over the past 3 years? You don't have my address where you've had to deal with me? You don't see all the trips I've taken in port? What are you talking about?" And yet it's still in that state of you're deactivated. I mean, like, these are not people who can help you at all. Nothing. Like,
Well, here I just actually pulled my Checker. Checker actually keeps a record of all your last reports, right? Uber 2023, Lyft 2023, Curry 2022, Uber again, because Uber does 2 for me, because I got one for Oklahoma and one for Florida. 2023, no DoorDash.
so you've never had a.
Mm-mm.
That's so weird. So DoorDash. So that's probably part of the reason how they acquired the market share. I mean, by having 4 million Dashers instead of 1 million Uber Eats people.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, all of us that signed up, years and years ago, none of us had to go through a background check like you do today.
But that's my point.
And so
today?
every year they do not do one on me.
But here's my thing. I mean, I'm on DoorDash too, so maybe they didn't do it on me. I'd have to check. But if you onboard to DoorDash tomorrow, do they do a check? Or are they doing a check when they want to, when there's a reason?
I don't even like I switched whenever I moved down to Florida. I switched my license to Florida. And of course, Uber, Lyft, all of them, they wanted new copies of my driver's license. I tried to change it with DoorDash. DoorDash says, "Don't worry about it. When we need it, we'll tell you." I'm like, "No, the one you have on file is no longer valid. You have to have my valid one." They're like, "No, we're good." I'm like, seriously?
I mean, also, like, why don't you have or do they use something different? Why don't you have a Grubhub in yours or a Lyft?
I don't know. I don't have any Grubhub, Delivered, Spark, any of them. Yeah.
I mean, are they maybe using something different? Like Spark might be.
I don't know.
Maybe Spark doesn't use Checker. I mean,
I know. Wait, on one of them, if you had a recent background, I always suggest this to people. Whenever these companies run background reports on you, get your copy.
Oh yeah,
because I believe I think it was either Delivered or one of them. If my background that I had was within 30 or 60 days, I could use that, and so I did use that on one of the platforms. I don't remember which one though.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I always found it weird that I don't like Uber and Lyft are the only ones that do annual background checks on me.
I'm not frozen.
No, you're not. You're good.
Yeah, you did for a minute.
Now you're frozen, and not a pretty look. Everybody, screenshot that. Are you back?
I just reset it because you froze out on me. I don't know what happened.
No, you froze on us.
You froze out on us, yeah.
Yeah, it's your government internet.
That's right. I tell you what, we have reached the point for the first break on the radio side, so we're going to do that. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live on a Friday night. Oh, I'm so glad it's Friday night. Driver Nation, stay right there.
Okay, so now I'll look at the chat here real quick. Hey, what's up, Josh? What's up, Rick? How you doing? And
Red,
hey, what's
JP's
up, Red? What's up, Marissa? What's up, Tony? What's up, Heidi? How are you? Kevin Hawthorne, Lisa, how are you?
Rideshare Lisa checks in. Rideshare Lisa.
What's up, JP? Hey, Flower, how are you? Holly, how are you? And yeah. And anybody lurking, don't care how you are. Just kidding. Lurkers. No, but Tom, the second article I put in there, I kind of put for if you wanted to talk about it.
I don't have them in order right this second. Which one is the
The
second?
truckers' protests in LA.
Yeah, there's two things going on there. So
I can put the link to this one in the. I know it's Freightways, and I don't like them, and I'm trying. Yeah. I try not to read it.
Yeah, good. Appreciate it.
Sometimes I don't want to. I don't want to. I get it, but sometimes I have to because they have an article I can't find elsewhere.
Well,
but there it is. I just put it in private chat.
I mean, the big slowdown is really what we need to discuss, because that's the one that's going to impact all of us.
Remember that movie 2012 where the planet gets wiped out? Sure. I think it was 2012. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You notice how like that and that Utah religion just didn't pan out how it was supposed to.
Right.
I think of them both as like VTOL and autonomous. Like, they're just fake.
You know what I find weird looking at these background checks? On my Uber, there's a couple sections that say consider. And then on my left, it all says clear. Like, how do you
I always wondered that about
backgrounds?
Checkered. Like, do they like? I know they're supposed to, but like, dude, if you sent in a Lyft and an Uber, because a lot of people like onboard do a lot of things at once. Do you really think they're running it each time, or do you think they're
all right? Just coming back in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live on a Friday night. We're doing Driver Nation, as we usually do on Friday nights. All sorts of labor unrest out on the West Coast. And Steve, you talk about the one article that you posted already, and then I'm going to follow up with some other stuff that you didn't have posted yet.
Okay, so this is talking about. I saw this posted from Kim. I think it was today, maybe. Yeah, Friday. So this is talking about there's truckers protesting in LA because the city contracts with AB5, like we've known, are gone now. The truckers aren't under they haven't been for a minute, but they're not under the AB5 protections anymore. And nor I should say nor were they ever, but they were temporarily because of the pandemic. They just kind of like allowed them to be in there without a carve out, but to be afforded the right to be freelancers or to be independent. Right. So, as I'm reading it, they're now being held to the prong test, the ABC test, which yes. We already know from the Dynamex decision that was years ago in California. This will never work. The truckers, just like everybody else that got screwed and gets screwed, the truckers will not be able to pass this test. I mean, here's my thing. First of all, you know how much I hate AB5. Luckily, we don't have to talk about it much anymore because it is what it is now. There's some major damage done, but this is almost like it's happening again because this whole time since AB5, they didn't give truckers a carve out, but because of the pandemic timing with AB5 going into effect, they have afforded them the right. So it's almost like we've overlooked it, even during like when there wasn't enough truckers to get things places. Ships weren't crossing the seas, and so we were running out of toilet paper and all this during the pandemic. But even beyond that, and now it's like they're finally like, okay, we're out of the pandemic enough. X the truckers, and that's kind of just how I see it. Again, just like I feel like, and I've said this before on this show. I know sometimes we laugh about it, but it's really not that funny. I feel like California makes laws in a room of about 7 people. Yes, that really impact everybody.
Yep.
I mean, just unacceptable in every way to me. And what they're trying, from what I could tell from here, holding them to the ABC test, you got 70,000. I mean, we know some have been leaving, so I don't know how current of a number 70,000 independent California truckers is. But that's the last number I know. No, as Tom and all of us have talked about, truckers have left California, or they're using mailboxes outside the state, or whatever they're doing. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I mean, minus the workarounds, you're not talking about pulling the plug on 70,000 independent contractor truckers who've been doing this and did it for a company maybe for a while, bought their own truck, they've been their own business, and now all of a sudden, because we're out of the heat of the pandemic, now they're going to pull the plug on them with the dumb law. And I feel like it's just happening all over again. So that's what I have on it.
Well, things are actually much worse out there than you might think. So starting on last Friday, this is 9th, last Thursday afternoon, and running through most of this week, longshoremen from Los Angeles to Seattle all slowed down. I mean, really slowed down. Where it usually takes, say, half a day from the time a ship pulls into the port till they get anchored in the port. And then it takes 2 to 3 days to empty a ship, starting actually a few days into May. It now takes 9 days to empty a ship. That's a slowdown. Guys, that may not seem like much. You're going, yeah, so what does that mean? It will take probably the rest of this month and maybe all of July too to catch back up to where they were. They had just caught up recently. Remember when they had all the ships sitting way out there in the ocean, and they were like, yeah, we're just backed up right now. Took them a long time to get caught. Well, they are now turning around ships. They come into the harbor, they drop anchor, and then they're told to pick up anchor and leave and come back later. And that's been going on all week. And you're going to feel it. We're all going to feel it because with the supply chain and the state that it's in, these little snags like this can mess things up more than you can possibly imagine. And this all gets back to, number one, the most important thing. The longshoremen on the West Coast have been working without a contract since July 1st last year. July 1st. Okay. So now,
which I have to interject, guys. I don't always pick. I mean, I'm not. I say that there might be a time and a place, but look, I mean, these guys haven't had protections or their union protections or anything all that time either.
right.
So again, it becomes how safe is the W-2 too. So when we're all dogging on the gig economy, sometimes just rethink that.
Yeah. So this is the longshoremen versus the PMA, the Pacific Maritime Association. Those are the companies that own the ports and the boats. Okay. So this is where the fight's going on. The union did not authorize any kind of slowdown. They did not authorize a strike. There was no vote. So the PMA, in their infinite wisdom, it now wants to sue the longshoremen for the violation of the collective bargaining agreement, which has not been in place since July 1 of last year. You can't make this stuff up. It's just absolutely insane. So now, how else does this impact us? So now Union Pacific, the train company, okay, they've had to pause all their trains out on the west, anywhere near the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, because they can't get in to get the stuff off the ships to put them on the train. So the ripple effect now is the trains have come to a stop. You don't think you're going to feel this in the wallet?
No, my head's already spinning. I just don't like ever telling everybody, and that's why I don't like say it all out. I'm just thinking of the million conspiracy theories going on in my head right
now you add to all of this. Okay, so CARB is the group out in California that is all about the clean air and all this kind of stuff, and came up with all these rules about getting rid of all the diesel trucks by 2030 and cutting them all back by 2027 and all that kind of stuff. So the attorneys general of 19 other states yesterday filed suit against California and the EPA for the EPA accepting California as having some kind of magic or some kind of power where the rest of us are all supposed to bow down to what they're doing. And these other 19 states are all saying, we don't have to do what California's doing. And if the EPA wants to force it on us, we're suing.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff out in California, I mean, I know we sound like a broken record here sometimes talking about this stuff. But
do we? Because I feel like we're always relating it to a different scenario.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always new stuff. Here comes another. Here comes another.
Yeah, we're talking about the same outcome and the bad outcome, but it's a new thing. This just happened.
So supply chain managers from coast to coast now are all very nervous about what happens next. Nobody knows what happened. Today, everybody showed up and worked. Nobody knows what the signal is to slow down, and nobody knows what the signal was today to go back to work. And today everybody worked their butts off, and all the ports are open, and everything ran. What's tomorrow? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what happens next Monday. This whole thing is it's a mess.
I can tell you with those. I mean, probably everybody in here has seen a video or knows the size of these type Long Beach type ports, like these big mass ports. But like if you have to bring in other people, not only is that process very difficult, crazy, screwed up, but if you have to bring in different people, even if we weren't in a slowdown with the trucking and trains and everything else, those people would only be outputting about 25-30% of what they do on a given day. Like if you're putting semi-untrained people up in those like freight lifters, and so I mean they do because they have people who are ready, but they don't have the experience.
Hey guys, how much do you think one of the crane operators at a port like that makes?
Over 200 a year.
250,000 to 300,000 a year.
Yep.
How do I know that? I met the owner of the crane operation station for the port of Houston the other day, and he pointed out another guy to me across the room, and he said, "That's one of my crane guys." And I said, "How much does he make?" And he said, "Between $250,000 and $300,000 a year." And I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "I pay him. I ought to know."
Yeah. If I was that guy, I'd go to like a doctor's bar every night. Be like, "What do you make?" "Oh, I make way more."
Oh, that's all you made last year?
You went to medical school?
Yeah. I asked him, jokingly, I said, "So what does it take? What would I need to do?" He said, "Well, you can get there. We'd probably hire you. All you need is 20 years experience operating heavy crane."
Yeah.
That's where we start, is 20 years experience. I said, "Yeah, I probably won't make that."
Yeah. No, but for those people who get onto that dock when they're younger, that opportunity's there. I mean, like, so when people are when the kids are looking for an opportunity, we're like, what should I do? Maybe that is something you should look into because you can get up to some extreme pay.
Heavy machinery work is not going to be not going to be completely automated in your lifetime. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something that you think you can do,
So one of the ships, let me see if I've got the right thing here. I think I do. I had it right here. Give me just a sec, guys. Sorry. One of the ships that they just told to turn around and go circle out in the water for a while and come back. I think they said it could come back today. They're going to try to work it out. Anyway, he's filled with IKEA furniture and a bunch of food for Trader Joe's or Trader Joe's, Trader Vic's. What is?
Well, there's a Trader Joe's.
Let me find this. Find on page.
Like I got a Trader Joe's right by not too far from my house.
Trader Joe's is a weird place when it comes to gig world, dude. They don't let any of us go in there. Nothing.
Trader Joe's. He's got on this ship. He's got the tires for Tesla cars. Tens of thousands of them, of course. IKEA furniture, and Trader Joe's peas, which are going to go bad, of course, if they don't. You can't just drive the ship around in the water for a week or two and then take 9 days to unload the ship. And that stuff goes bad.
Yeah.
So, all of this stuff, it all runs downhill, and it ends up costing us money. Is the truth of it. So, and remember, we just had June 1st come by, so that means another 8,000 trucks came off the road in California.
Well, supposedly.
No,
8,000 came off the road in California and came in from Reno.
Whether they drove, if they drove them to another state and got them, registered in another state, that's certainly possible.
Well, I'm just talking about like even our buddy Sean, who's a trucker who's been on this show and other shows, who always calls in from his truck. He's mostly out of Chicago area and does East Coast, but he said he's loved the West Coast stuff because there's always money out here because he doesn't live there.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's sad. It's sad. That's so sad to even have to say that. Well, I don't live there. I can go make a ton there.
That's right.
Well, I do live there. I'm not even allowed to work here. If that doesn't sound stupid to you,
yep, it's crazy. All right, we've got 1 minute left, so let's go ahead and do the break now, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live, and you can watch us live on YouTube on the Rideshare Rodeo channel. Stay right there. So, Steve, since we've got a couple of minutes, let me check and make sure I've got enough time. All right, so I want to share something that's a video that wouldn't play well on the radio anyway. So let me do that.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And you share that out to, all right, folks, those of you on YouTube, take a look at this. I want to point out two things to you. One is, notice on this, you're looking at a parking lot of a food store, grocery store in Tennessee. Notice in this parking lot, way over here on the left-hand side, almost off the screen, you'll see that a red car has almost backed into a pickup truck. Okay. Way on the other side of the parking lot, notice that there is a woman who is getting out of her SUV. Roll the tape. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Okay, so there's nearly this accident there. Woman on the other side. So I'll play more in just a second here. So she's pissed that she almost got hit. So she goes whipping through the parking lot. This other woman now is in the crosswalk area when the pickup truck, I'm sorry for those of you who are squeamish, you might want to look away for a moment. She's in the same kind of crosswalk area as that right there and plows the woman head on.
Damn, right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And you can see she gets laid out.
Oh.
Here's the punchline. That's my mom.
What?
That's my mom.
Are you kidding?
No. So this happened a couple of years ago. The woman gets out, walks over. Are you okay? Are you okay? So people start running over to see what's going on. Then they go running inside to call for an ambulance and that kind of stuff. She has a major concussion, broken arm, that kind of stuff. Survived, miraculously survived. So, safety moment for the day. Number one, don't drive pissed. Okay, just because somebody, and she was really upset when the police talked to her. She was really upset because she wanted to park on this aisle because she always parks on this aisle, but that car cut her off and almost hit her. So she took off and she was really pissed. And plows my mom right there.
I guess one perk is I'm sure maybe they had a camera on it too, but she didn't leave the scene.
She did not leave the scene.
However, she probably would have got caught anyway. But.
Well, then she tries to deny responsibility.
Okay.
But I went over to the food place and said, yeah, my mom was the one who got hit by that woman. Do you have that camera working outside? And they said, yes. And I said, can I have that video? And they said, sure. So I took the video to the police and, they showed her the video. She busted out into tears and all that kind of stuff. So
that's crazy.
So again, be careful in parking lots, and at the time, mom was 80 years old. She's 85 now. And, so 80, maybe 82. She's not going to jump out of the way of a speeding truck who's pissed off because they didn't get to park where they wanted to.
No.
So,
I mean, I know she had the concussion, but I mean, being older, did she? I mean, anything get broke or?
Yeah, no, broke her arm really bad. It didn't come through the skin, but it was like, complete break of both bones, and because she.
But I mean, I'm just saying, nothing else.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's amazing
because she's very lucky, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, we've said. I mean, obviously, her guardian angel was sitting right there with her because she basically bounced off.
Yeah.
Okay, and went flying, which was a good thing, because had she frozen up and really gotten run over, there would have been nothing we could say. Oh, we're back. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live on a what night is it? Friday night. Driver Nation. Sorry about being a little bit late getting back there. We were looking at a safety video while we were on break there and reminding people the importance of, number one, keeping your temper while driving, and number two, take it nice and easy in the parking lots, especially your grocery stores and like that. You got women pushing baby strollers, and you got moms and grandmas and little old men like me and all that kind of stuff. So,
little old men like you. Huh?
That's right. Okay, big old fat men like me. But speaking of baby strollers,
yes,
you got a story there that kind of boggles the mind.
Yeah, and then actually, I think we got just enough time if we want to do that. And this guy that got caught with the DoorDash, we can probably, it's a 2.5 minute video that everybody on the radio can hear as well. But
sure.
So yeah, you guys, this is like I was saying it before the show. I don't know if this is a good story. Like Gary and I are always looking for good stories for Thursday night. Can we find a positive story? Is there a positive story out there this week? It's very hard, you guys. Trust me. But I don't even know that this is a positive story. I'm just glad that the Dasher did what he did. But I think I was we talked about it last night a little bit, and I think I was using it
good
more
and bad story, I believe. It's like good, bad.
Yeah, but what I was trying to point out is that like we keep talking about the gig economy and the rideshare and delivery people and attacks and killings and dismemberments and all this that's going on. But what I was trying to make very clear is that it's just going on, period. There are just people off the spectrum right now who just are not participating in the world like they did before. And I mean that, like, I see them sometimes too. and I have a keen sense of that after working in the bars for many years. But there was a lady pushing a stroller across the street, had a baby in it. There was a guy walking towards her. The guy saw the baby. He was talking to himself or mumbling. And as he came by, he just started pounding on the baby's face, just started beating him into the ground. And a dasher saw it, ran across the street, tackled him, and held him down until the police got there. I would have been just feeding the dude until the police got there. But I mean, I'm just saying, guys, like,
Doing it in business.
I just wouldn't be playing, and I wouldn't care because the police aren't going to care when they get there.
No, you like he had all those injuries when he fell from beating the baby.
That's right. Yeah,
the baby did it.
Yeah, the baby.
The baby won the fight.
Self-defense. Yeah.
Steve, you know, and I won't get on my high horse for this other than just to say there is a mental health crisis in America right now.
Huge.
You know,
huge. It's not even it. We talked about that last night. It was brought up again. It's huge, though. It's not just a crisis. It's huge.
It's huge. And I realize, and I'm not going to get to the third rail of politics here and talk about gun control or any of that kind of stuff, because the truth of it is you can collect everybody's guns. I mean,
well, good luck.
Theoretically, if everybody turned in all their guns, we haven't solved the problem.
No.
We haven't solved the problem. There's just craziness out there.
Yeah. I think the mental health thing is huge. I know that there's been medicine shortages and things that we haven't seen in years. Why do you think that is, people? It's not a supply chain issue. It's because people got messed up during the pandemic and then some, and people weren't treated, and there's a lot of untreated now who don't accept they have these issues, and they've like really flared out of control. So I don't know. I live in an area of Denver where I can go to certain areas and see homeless people who have been homeless so long they've kind of lost it a bit. You know, we all know, I think, what I'm talking about. There are tons of those out there now. Tons. And they're not even just in the places that they used to be. They're all over. And so I hope everybody takes their mental health seriously and check in with somebody, whatever you got to do. But I want to share, let's move a little bit to this, because I want to share this. Remember the stories about the DoorDash drivers or people who were draining accounts of money?
Yes.
Like scamming people. Okay, well, let's watch this. I'm going to share this. And for your radio listeners, you'll hear it. But it's let's get it going.
This week, he's accused of stealing more than $700,000 from vulnerable victims. New South Connecticut's Marissa Alter reports.
That hair.
This is probably the most massive scheme that I've seen.
Stanford police say this is the man behind it, 21-year-old David Smith. Police first arrested Smith in January after patrol officers responded to a domestic violence incident at an apartment on Prospect Street. The department's financial crimes unit then took an interest in him due to what officers noticed in the apartment.
Stacks of cash, over 100 payment cards in names other than the two people involved, a handgun, 2 fake IDs, and an illegal extended magazine on that handgun.
Investigator Mike Stempian says there were also 5 safes filled with cash. In total, police recovered $733,000 from the apartment.
So it's a massive amount of money in a single apartment in Stanford for this guy running the scheme. It was obviously very lucrative for him.
The scheme alleged in California. Police say Smith would use one of his many phones to place a fake delivery order to a restaurant in the Golden State. Then when the driver was on the way, police say Smith would call them from a different phone and say he was DoorDash support and there was a problem with the order.
Then he would get them to click a link or go to a website, and then that essentially would turn over their credentials, their username and password to him. Once he was in control of that, he would change the billing information and steal any funds that they had for deliveries they had done, basically steal their paycheck.
Smith is accused of doing this to more than 700 drivers over the course of 2.5 years. Police say he also stole the identity of another 75 people to open over 100 debit card accounts where he transferred the stolen money. They don't know why Smith targeted DoorDash drivers and say there's no information he ever worked for the company. Smith's bond was set at $2 million, which is incredibly high for a financial crimes case. Just to give you some context, I was in court yesterday for a murder case, and that suspect had his bond set at half the amount of Smith's. Smith is due to be extradited next week, then he'll be arraigned here. In Stamford, Marissa Alter, News 12, Connecticut.
Wow. Wow. $750,000 in cash.
And he kept it in cash. Oh my God, dude.
Cash.
This guy. And I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm glad he got caught. Because we knew a lot of people who were dealing with this.
Well, he's not the only one though that's doing
I don't think, no.
Think of how many millions and millions are being taken from drivers. You know, that's why we tell you, DoorDash won't ever call you.
Right.
Yes.
And never, I mean, Gary's probably the best one to talk about this. I know Tom could too, but to be honest, never click a link, guys.
No.
For God's sake, dude.
You realize, people talk about hackers all the time, okay? And the truth of it is, hardly ever are computers hacked. People
always
hack.
some vulnerability.
This is a people hack, not a computer hack. And that's what most hacks are. Unbelievable. $750,000 in cash. And for such
that's also what they got. What did he spend?
Right. But
For all we knew, he had another 750.
You would think he would have been smart enough to not end up in a situation where the police would end up in his apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, again, I've lived in every type of housing, even ones that sketched me out. But why did it appear, not projects, but why did it appear like low income housing when this guy's got 700 grand in there? And I say that because a lot of times those areas are high crime. I would think you'd be showing your hand. Like,
right.
Hey, dude, I'm carrying tons of cash.
Well, I mean, he probably didn't want to go high profile.
No, but you could go rent $1,000 house with a garage.
Yeah, I agree there too. I mean, you could rent even $2,000 a month,
Yeah.
Go rent a house somewhere. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it looked like he didn't even have, maybe they didn't show it enough, but it looked like he had no furniture. Like he just had cases of money.
I think those cases have been brought to the police station at that point. They're wrong.
Well, this is why we tell you guys, don't click links. DoorDash won't call you. Don't give anybody your email or password. Don't do any of that stuff. And then you don't have any problem.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if you've heard the stories about, hey, DoorDash actually got me back on that one. Those are rare, guys, by the way. It's not like everybody gets their money back. Don't think that.
Yeah, pretty much everybody who's listening to us right now, sometime in the last month, have gotten a text message on their phone that sometimes has a link. Sometimes it just says, "Hey, how you doing?" And you don't recognize the number. Okay, that's the beginning of a hack.
Or I know we only got less than a minute, but I keep getting PayPal emails that are legit from PayPal because they're forwarding it from PayPal, but they changed the links in the email. So that's definitely don't be clicking stuff like that. Go to their websites directly.
Yep.
All right. Well, just so much going on. Let's take a break, do the top of the hour stuff. We'll be out for about 5-6 minutes, and we'll be right back. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
ParaWorks is a new way for drivers to find high-paying job opportunities. You can claim these job offers to stack with your...
Are you looking for a new kind of gig work ride-along video? Well, look no further than the Long Island Dash Experience. Join Lou and Mary, the dynamic husband and wife duo, as they embark on thrilling adventures while delivering for top platforms like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, and Shipt. Get ready to be a fly on the wall and experience the excitement firsthand. Every shift is a unique adventure waiting to unfold.
Oh, he did it again! Oh, that's so... Oh my God, that's so scary!
Yeah, what the heck? I just saw that.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and this is Delivering with Ellen. Thank you for watching. Always accepting new subscribers. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Are you tired of being limited by the algorithms of the courier apps? Do you want to take control of your earning potential as an independent contractor? Hi, my name is Hannibal, and I run the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel. Tune into the Beyond the Algorithm live stream with my co-host Steve Rideshare Rodeo. In each episode, we share valuable insights and tips on how to achieve income beyond the courier apps and become a true independent contractor. Join us for practical advice and inspiring stories that help you know your worth and maximize your earning potential. Don't miss the Beyond the Algorithm live stream on the Hannibal is Hungry YouTube channel.
Are you a DoorDash delivery driver? Would you like to be safer and less stressed while driving and earn more at the same time? The Driver's Utility Helper app allows you to do just that. Create custom filters and its automated system does the work for you, automatically declining unwanted low-paying requests and accepting more profitable requests so you can focus on driving. Visit acceptordecline.com to get started today.
Like, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that help. That's what we're all here to help each other. Should be, not to try to knock each other or bash each other or be nice. It's simple and easy. And if you can't be nice, it's most of you've heard the old saying: if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That still stands true. If you can't be nice, just don't say nothing. But always be willing to listen to what people are saying. Don't be afraid to change. There you go. Because you might learn something by making a change, by listening to somebody else, even though it's a different way of doing something that you're doing. Be open-minded and listen.
All right, guys, coming back in about 30 seconds. They're on. In 3, 2, 1. welcome back in TNCradio.live on a Friday night. You guys glad it's Friday? I'm glad it's Friday.
We're full-time gig workers. I don't think weekend matters.
What's a weekend? You're listening to TNCradio.live. This is Driver Nation, where we talk all things gig economy. You can watch us online. If you're not out driving right now, you can watch us on Rideshare Rodeo. Do not watch us while you're driving. Listen to us. That's TNC Radio. See, 2 platforms, one for driving, one for not driving.
And if you're not driving and you're able to, and you're able to run it on your phone, launch TNCradio.live on a new tab, hit play, hit mute, let it play while you're watching.
Yeah, give me the clicks there. We need them.
Okay.
All right. So we are off to hour number 2. And we didn't even get to all the stories from hour number 1, did we?
No, that's why I was saying I might just start listing them.
Yeah.
As like high priority or fun or short.
Okay, so
I've got too many in here.
Big time study out of Chicago. Actually, this article comes to us from the University of Michigan under Tech Explorer. Full electrification of Uber and Lyft vehicles would provide only modest benefits to society, study shows. I have a major problem with this particular article, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Basically, the article says an aggregate electrification of Uber and Lyft reduces net external cost to society by 3%. 3% net, depending on the social cost of carbon.
I picked this article for you, by the way.
Yeah. The problem I have with this is I think it way overestimates
which is still underestimating, though. It's still saying it'll be pathetic, but it overestimates.
Yeah.
So it's saying, like, here's these inflated numbers, but it's still going to be really sad. It's not going to do what you think.
It's only get you a 3% reduction in cost to society, translates to about $1.5 million per year in savings for the city of Chicago. To put that number in context, ride-hailing is estimated to generate $4 to $5 million in revenues every day in Chicago. So what does all this boil down to? EV is a myth. I don't know how many times to say it.
That's why I said it to you. Even though like the numbers seem like, man, that's not right. At the same time, even if we accept those numbers, it's still not enough. It's not gonna produce any kind of results that it's gonna versus what it's gonna cost us.
Right. So he does a really good job of proving out, the math here proves out that the increase at the power station level, where they actually create the electricity to handle all of the cars if they became electrified, the increase that would be required there offsets the pollution out of the tailpipe almost completely. He doesn't get into, though, the actual carbon burn, if you will, of building the cars to start with, or even doing the mining to get the stuff out of the ground to make the batteries.
Or even fully the infrastructure isn't even tackled. So my point is like he took one little piece of it, dissected it, and found out this thing's a load of crap, and still gave like numbers that are better than Tom and I would probably say, or probably Gary too. But at the same time, they're so sad that it's like, well, why should we do this? It's going to cost us a ton to do nothing.
And yet GM followed Ford from 2 weeks ago, and GM yesterday signed on with Elon Musk. And you may now, with the new GM cars, they're all going to kick over to being able to be charged by the same station as Tesla cars. Oh, goodness gracious. So Elon that's huge. And I don't know how much he's charging GM and Ford. I'm sure it's a license agreement. but he just made a bunch more money.
Yeah,
much more.
And people say he's not very smart.
Dude, Joe Rogan, I don't know if you guys caught this week earlier. Joe Rogan was talking to, I can't remember who it was, an alien professor. He's been doing a lot more alien stuff, and he was talking to an alien professor about Elon, and they got into a huge discussion about him being a reptilian. Because how could he not be? Because they were going through the points that proved it. Like, okay, nobody's ever been able to conquer electricity. He did it. Then he took it to a tenth the cost. He sent an electric car to space. He makes space crafts for a tenth of the price of our government. It's like this guy knows everything, but none of us know anything.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it a lot better, but it was a really good little piece.
The first interview I ever saw of Elon Musk was with Rogan, and they were both so wasted.
Oh yeah, that's the one. I think that's the famous one where they're smoking even. In the session.
During the thing. I mean, and I was like, I love these guys. These guys are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched. I used to watch before Rogan went to Spotify, and it really shouldn't affect it for me. But I used to watch Rogan a lot more. But when Rogan had Bernie on, I don't know if you guys ever caught that one. That was the Bernie Sanders one. If you guys like Joe Rogan at all, is a really good thing to go watch because he's trying to relate and say he likes some of the stuff. But about halfway through, he lights one up and he's like, "Are you want to?" Bernie's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna." He just sits there. He's pumping. And it was but thing is, it's a great interview, start to end. So it is a good piece. I mean, he squeezed some information out of Bernie that I think is worth hearing. I'm not saying go vote for Bernie, but I'm saying it's worth hearing.
Yep. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
Yep.
The other big news, of course, came out in the past week was the VR announcement from our friends over at Apple. Did you track any of that?
I did not. I kept seeing it was live. What day was it? I kept seeing I was gonna I've joined into those before and just left it on and realized I'm listening to something I'm not even listening to. But I didn't watch the event, and no, I have not kept up with it.
Well,
so.
Every time they do something now, they compare it to, is this as big as announcement as when, what's his name brought out the first iPhone?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs. And no announcement will ever be like that. Yeah. But I'll tell you, they're taking this to a whole new level, and some of the stuff that they're able to do it's remarkable. And everybody's, it's $3,500 to get these goggles, and you can get them from Google for $100, and blah, blah, blah. They don't understand what's happening here. This is like the difference between living in a mansion and living in a slum. It's
VR goggles that transfer your house into a mansion.
I think it could.
Yeah, dude.
Are you talking about the Vision Pros?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're more similar to Facebook's or Meta's VR than they are Google's.
I think they just blasted Meta out of the water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you mentioned Google. Google has the Google glasses, but they don't actually have a VR yet.
No, they've got. Yeah, they do.
Not like Meta's, I don't think. Do they?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys talk about something. I'll be right back.
Oh, they got the Meta Quest Pros, but I don't think Google actually has an AR like that. I remember they had one that hooked to your PC a while back, and it was daunting to hook up.
So what about what's going to happen to Turo now that you can rent cars through Uber?
That's the VR box, though. That's the one you put in your phone, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's not the same thing as the Meta one.
Yeah, but these things, people are saying this is the same thing.
No, that's not even close. That's No,
Okay.
no, you put your phone into that.
Right. You can't compare this to what these guys have just come up with. I mean, and over the long run, I believe the real technology that's going to really change the world for those in the trucking industry and those of us who do driving professionally on an everyday basis, whether you're delivering food or picking up people or whatever, it's all going to be about changing the driver experience to make it so much more interesting, so much safer, and allow us to do and know things that we can never do before.
See, that's the VR I got.
Yeah.
Like it's.
And it's like Silence of the Lambs, green vision,
no
so you can
phone
like
required.
kill
You can use your hands. You can do simulators with it. But yeah, this is Meta's right here.
Okay.
And they're $300.
$300. $300.
Yeah.
And how well does it work?
It works really well. Really well. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it at all.
And gives you the all of the feelings and everything that you would expect from
yeah, they actually have one in there. Well, I mean, not feelings. It's not like you got a suit on that you can feel anything.
I understand. Yeah.
But like they actually have a VR office in there, so I can actually do programming inside my VR headset if I want to.
Right.
You know, and I mean they got simulators.
Can you have a cup of coffee in there and have somebody else do it for you?
No. I mean, probably could, but you ain't gonna get no nourishment out of it. I mean,
I know, but you don't
VR's
have to do the work.
VR's a long way away from like Ready Player One, for example. We're forever away from that.
Right. It's like beach hall.
But like Tom was probably getting around to is for training and everything.
Yeah,
that thing's going to come in real handy.
We're going to see VR in the cabs of the trucks. That's going to happen before there is full autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, JP, that's what I was getting at too, is the Vision Pro here. It's more targeted towards professionals, to where the Meta ones and in-house towards, regular people to buy. Which Meta is actually releasing, I think which anybody that don't know, Meta is actually Facebook rebranded. They're actually releasing their version 3 or 4 soon as well, which is supposed to have upgrades. That's the version 1 that I have, and it still works great.
Well, as a IT professional, content creator, and a guy who owns an internet radio station, yeah, they hit me right. You got me, baby. You got me.
Yeah, tax write-off, right? You know, I don't know if Tom. I don't. Have you ever driven a truck, Tom?
Yes.
Like semi? Okay. Whenever I first started out, and this is back in what, 2006. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. Yeah, 2006, I think.
Pretend he's young.
I know.
My first truck was in 1984.
Well, I'm saying they actually had simulators back then for training safety.
Sure.
I mean, they worked like dog crap compared to real life. I mean, you step on the brakes and they still have you sliding 10 miles.
Right.
I'm like, that's not realistic, but but back then they even had simulators for trucking.
Sure. Well, we're going to see some pretty cool stuff, but I won't. That's a different show.
Yeah, that's a different show.
Yeah.
But maybe we can get some VR on how to deliver some food.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Instacart. Well, no, that's more of a chatbot thing.
Yeah, that's chat.
Just we're seeing everything everywhere. Did you see this? Did you see the Uber is launching peer-to-peer car sharing, just like Turo?
I did, and I didn't have a chance to finish the article. What's?
Well, I love this. So it's from Axios. I love that. Axios always puts why it matters. So it says another way the ride-hailing network is trying to rethink transportation. My why it matters is it's another way for Uber to fail.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I don't know, guys. I feel like some people are happy with Turo, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I I would even now with this being a thing, because it's going to be it used to be Car Next Door. Gary, you might know this from Australia. That was acquired by Uber, and they started doing it. So now it's called Uber Car Share now. The service is launching in North America, Boston, Toronto. It will be the first cities. Car owners can set their daily rate, hourly prices. Same thing as Turo. Fuel is included, and so is insurance. Same thing as Turo. Even if this became available in Denver tomorrow, I would still use Turo because I hate Uber.
I know you would, but you have to understand 99% of the people in America have never heard of Turo. And every single person in America has heard of
Uber.
But I wonder if people who are looking at renting out their cars have, because if you do the most basic Google search, you're going to learn about Turo real quick.
Yeah, but like if I'm not renting out a car though, I'm going to put it on both platforms.
Yeah. Well, sure, but I'm saying the uninitiated, the average person is going to jump in on this as far as far as this being an Uber thing. They're going to love it. They're going to love it.
Yeah. I guess I would be very curious, like in Gary's case, I don't know if there will be, I guess it depends on where you live too, because non-competes are becoming non-existent is what they're becoming. So, but if there was a non-compete, but if there wasn't, and you did list it on both, I'm curious what my cost would be to rent your vehicle through Turo as opposed to renting it through Uber.
Like, I was actually,
if you set the same number you wanted to make.
Have you ever rented a car or rented out your car on Turo?
No.
Okay, I did it actually. I actually have an account, and I actually rented out my pickup truck once. I've rented out a couple other cars, but it's to the point now that if you're going to rent out any car, you're going to get dirt cheap because everybody else is undercutting you. So if you actually want your car to go, it's going to be like a $20 a day car.
Really? Because like Jason P's Drive to Win 13, that's pretty much his new side hustle. He's been working all these gigs, but he does a lot of that.
Yeah, in my
he has
area,
like 4 cars.
In my area, I mean, of course, like the stuff like Teslas, the Bentleys, high value cars, yeah, those went for pretty decent money. But as far as like a regular everyday car, you're talking about $20 a day, maybe $30 a day if you're going to rent it out.
Wow.
And then that's before Turo even takes their cut.
Right, because I looked on Turo. I was just looking at some prices; they were pretty high. So even their cut must be high. But I can't imagine what you'd pay for an Uber car, because Uber's not just going to take $1; they're going to take a lot. It's not going to be a small fee. I don't know. I really do stand by the reason of this article is another way for them to fail. I've read the article. I've looked at their bullet points. I don't see anything that's good, that's like they thought of, that's their proprietary idea. It just looks like they stole a couple ideas, wrapped it in the box, and said, let's make it work.
And that's why I think it's going to work, Steve.
But most things don't work on Uber.
Yeah, right now I can get a Ford F-150 for $50 a day.
Okay. So it also depends on, but I mean, like a lot of things that Uber does don't work. Autonomous VTOL Connect it's failing again. It already failed 2 years ago.
That's a different thing altogether. I mean, obviously they're doing well.
Here's what I get curious about. So in phase 3, you're completely covered by Uber, right? Well, I've talked to the attorneys at Legal Rideshare enough to know that that's not the case. They're going to fight it big time. So where's the legal stance going to? I know you're renting from the person. I understand this, but where's the legal stance going to be? I feel like Uber's going to get wrapped up in a bunch of like lawsuit type stuff again. People are going to try and point the finger. They're going, oh, we're a technology company, and really, well, then you should be in the mix. Okay, we're just SaaS then. I don't know. I guess I was under the impression, because I've talked to people who have used Turo, that Turo isn't so bad. I have a couple people who use it to rent from, and people who've rented on it. They had good. I don't think I'm just guessing. I would have complaints on the Uber one, and I wouldn't just make them up either.
I'm not saying that you won't. I'm saying that Uber. This is a natural thing for Uber to do, and I think it's I think they're going to be successful at it because they don't have any headwind that Turo does about finding out who Turo is. I just don't think most people know what Turo
Right.
who Turo
And like Holly's saying here is Turo used to be cheap, but I mean, in her market right now, she's saying it's double of any rental car place. Even rental car places here, I can get a rental car for $20 a day, $25 a day, or something like that.
But I think she's saying that she's rented from Turo before, and it used to be cheaper than the companies.
Right.
Now it's not. It's more.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I can get a F-150 for $50 a day, and I could probably go to Enterprise or somebody like that and get about $25 a day. Right.
Yeah.
But for me to rent out my car, $50 a day. Well, first off, I'm not going to get $50 a day because that's what Turo's going to take their cut. Me getting like $35 a day, $30 a day, that's not worth it to me. I mean, you're talking about some of these people, they might pick up your car, go do 200-300 miles in a day for $35. No.
Or go move like 10,000-15,000 pounds of cocaine
Yeah.
for $20.
I'm just saying, for the price point, there's no way I'd rent out my car.
Okay, my car is a Chevy Camaro. They're renting a Chevy Camaro here for $131 a day. If I had half of that, yeah, I'll do that.
That's like I said. You're going to get some vehicles that are going to be more expensive, but for the most part, you can find some really cheap ones.
Oops.
$131 a day, man. I'm in.
The crackheads.
Go for it. All right. Hey, we're past time for our break on the radio side. Let's do that. TNCradio.live. Taking a break on TNC Radio. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes. Stick with us. Well, I screwed all that up.
And by the way, I'm not just throwing out these numbers. I actually have Turo pulled up on my other screen here.
Yeah, I've got it up too.
Yeah. Well, just people saying that I'm way off on my numbers. I'm Googling it and looking at the websites before I say this. So
yeah, Holly's saying take it to the end. Don't rent it. Or do rent it if you want. But don't rent it, but take it to the end. See everything jump.
Oh, on Turo?
I think on everything, dude. Renting cars is not an easy job anymore. Like a lot of our rental car places are just out often, even when events aren't here in Denver. We just don't. You got to remember that during the pandemic, nobody was renting cars. What did they do during that time? They sold off a ton of their cars.
Yep.
And so have they restocked them since? No.
Nope.
So now we're back to pretty normal traveling, and there's just isn't cars to rent.
But rideshare has killed the rental car. I talk to people all the time because they come to me and they say, you know about rideshare stuff. I'm thinking about going to Pensacola. I'm going to fly into Pensacola, and I think I'm just going to Uber everywhere. Would that work? Yeah, that'll work great.
I mean, I think Uber car rental will be as cool as Uber Teen.
All right. We'll see.
Do not let your teenagers ride in the Uber. The drivers are not insured. Your kid will probably be something bad. 50-50 will happen to your child. And good luck. Who are you going to sue? The driver, Uber? They're all going to just point fingers. So, and the insurance companies are just going to sit to the side and laugh. Don't do it. It's not even advice, guys. I'm like, I never tell you what to do. I tell you what I would do, but I'm telling you, don't do it. All it takes is a kid lying about you. Even you don't even have to do anything. Kid lies, you're done.
Oh, I would never take a teenager or kid.
But that's what I'm saying. You know that, like, dude,
No.
all the things that could go wrong, but all it really, I mean, you could have a great ride. All it takes is them just to lie.
And doesn't he actually take them? All it takes is their parents to lie.
Right. I'm saying if they lie to their
Yeah.
parents, he touched me.
Yeah.
Touched you? What? Like, no, all of a sudden, even if you're in the right and have a dash cam and you're going to go to the news media, they're going to make the story bad first. So good luck overturning that, even with evidence. I don't know. I'm not only am I not a fan, I remember too many times when they didn't allow it, watching drivers do it. And now allowing it, I just think they're just asking for drivers who don't know better to get really stuck in some extremely hairy situations. Are we back on the radio? No.
3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live on a Friday night. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Gary. He's Steve. Before we go on, guys, real quickly, Gary from Gary's Apps. What apps?
Oh, we got lots of apps. I got, utility apps, got MAXYMO, Driver's Utility Helper, FlexAlert. Those are all aimed at the gig workers, helping drive safer, be on the road. Don't have to look at your screen, set your parameters, let the apps do the work for you. Got the Gig Wars app, the newest app out. Compete with other drivers in your markets and other markets across the United States. Soon to roll out to Canada as well. Compete, see who's the best driver, see who can earn the most money. Lots of fun.
That's competing in gig apps, people. He didn't say that, but it sounded like some kind of race. So I just wanted to clarify.
Competing in gig apps. Yeah, you take your earnings and see who has the best hustle mindset is what I think of it.
Yeah.
One day me and Steve are gonna do an Instacart war one day.
Yeah. My bet will be, it'll just be an over under. Can the two of us make over $100 between us in 8 hours?
But Steve, you got to actually try.
I will try.
Yeah, you got to try.
I'll try.
So yeah, just lots of apps there for gig workers. You can find all my apps at garysapps.com.
Very cool. Very cool. And Steve, how about for you? What do you do?
I don't know. I do a lot of curry. I'm starting to step up my dumpling game a little bit more. I'm back on the other apps, at least turning them on, doing even 1 or 2 DoorDashes here or there. I don't know why. I just it's really just in the name of science. I'm not going on DoorDash to take 2 orders to see how much I can make. I'm just seeing how it's feeling. And because again, people are telling me such bad things. So yeah, DoorDash is a very easy one to just turn on. Dash now, go. Even with my crappy acceptance, and I'm not like one of those multi-thousand people rides. So it's like I never did a ton of it. So yeah, I can do it, but the pay is awful, at least here in this market. I'm sure that Tony and Lisa could tell me better times and better areas if I was looking to really do it. I'm just talking about turning on here and there and seeing if there's anything, and they're just pretty bad. And our market can be good for gig work in most areas. So it's kind of insane. I know people are being deactivated, but yeah, my stuff, you can find it on ridesharerodeo.com. You can also find the audio podcast on every podcast player on the planet, maybe even off the planet. I don't know.
Yeah. That one that they have on Neptune right now.
Yeah, or Elon Musk's space channel. Yeah,
right. The Elon
you
Musk.
can find it on the Elon Musk. I think it's on Sirius Radio.
Yeah, but
that's the Rideshare Rodeo podcast. You can find it. Just did my 233rd episode.
You on Uranus.
Yeah, and then you can catch out the YouTube channel, and from the website you can pick your poison on social medias. I'm on all of them, but primarily YouTube and the podcast app. So you can find me on audio podcast everywhere. You can find the news on ridesharerodeo.com. And if you like other platforms that you prefer, you can find me there too, just not as often.
Got it. All right. What's next, Steve? I've misplaced I've got so many things open now. I can't find my list.
Okay.
You got all the tabs open.
I do.
Okay, so okay, this is a Texas survey. We're gonna see how Tom does.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit me.
Okay.
Are you talking about the cities?
Yes.
Yeah.
So okay, how many are there? Is there 3, 6? Is there 10? Okay. There's 10 cities. I'll name you all of them except for the 2 in Texas, which are the most forgetful cities that people leave at things in rideshare. Okay. So I'm going to read you other states here. I'm going to read you 8, and then I won't read either of the Texases, and let's see if you get a theme going and can name the 2. Okay. Jacksonville, Florida, Palm Springs, California, Salt Lake City, Utah, Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Indianapolis, Indiana, Kansas City, Missouri, and St. Louis, Missouri. And now there's 2 Texas towns. Which ones are there?
San Antonio and Dallas.
San Antonio and your town, bro.
Yeah, your town.
Houston. I'm not taking Houston.
Well, they were. In fact, they got you at number 4, bro.
Well, that doesn't really surprise me because of how many times people have left stuff in my car. I mean, just ridiculous. And usually, I mean, a lot of times I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to go through a lot of trouble. But one guy called me. Was it Uber call or somebody called me, and they said, "Can you go back and take his stuff back to him?" And I did, because he was a surgeon at the Texas Children's Hospital, and I had his I had some of his stuff in his pouch, and he left the scrubs and all that in the backseat of my car. So, yep. So I turned around and did that one. What are you going to do? It's a surgeon for little kids. Can't not do that one.
So, Washington, D.C., we know that the attorney general changed, and we know that he was like super. If you remember, he was going against gig work like a lot of states, but he was like the first smart person because he decided, let's go after Amazon and Shipt, the 2 companies that have money. So, like, he was very smart the way he played. He's like, no, we're going after them. Why would I go after Uber? They got nothing. So he's like, let's go after them. And he was very hardcore about it. I can't remember if he didn't run or if he got beat, but it's no longer the same guy. They just had recently had an election. Well, the mayor of DC signed a deal getting DoorDash drivers free dash cams. Now, sounds great, right? But isn't this exactly what we talk about? Isn't this one of those things that will make sure that DoorDash has a favor or 10 favors coming to them? Because we're not talking about like the legislation happened. We're talking about the mayor signed off on this. Do you think I'm going to be honest, I think the mayor made some kind of deal with him. And I think DoorDash is going to get a pass, or they're going to have a get out of jail free card type thing. I think this is the kind of stuff I talk about, giving free rides to.
What kind of dash cam? I mean, that makes a huge difference.
It is actually, I do know it was something Sony, so it was a good one.
Do they point in also just out?
Yeah, no, I don't know. The only thing I was just checking right now is to see if they upload to the cloud or if they're SD cards.
But my point is, if they point in, this is all about driver control.
Right. No, they're 2-way cameras. Yeah. Because the mayor says an estimated 5,000 dash cameras will be made available to eligible DoorDash drivers. DoorDash has donated $500,000 to a district initiative that seeks to offer free dash cams for ride delivery. Now, here's where I think the rub is. So they gave $500,000 to the DC mayor, and they said, "Why don't you just go get 5,000 dash cams and give them out to some people?" And he said, "Okay, like I would take that $500,000, go get you some dash cams too." All I had to buy was 5,000. I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
lot of money, man. And I'm just pointing out political corruptness.
Now,
here,
does
guys.
it say what the because you said certain dashers? Like, what's the criteria?
Well, it says an estimated 5,000 dash cameras will be made, and it says that because the initiative seeks to offer free dash cams to delivery drivers. So I think they're estimating that as the number of dashers in DC.
5,000?
Maybe.
No, surely more than that.
But maybe, yeah, I mean, I guess, but maybe it's just DC itself is pretty small. You know, there's just so many surrounding areas like where Nova lives and stuff, Virginia and stuff. But yeah, no, it doesn't say the type of camera. But so there's my other point. Wouldn't you just go buy a bunch of $10 cameras? I'd be like, sweet, dude. It's made like 450 grand off DoorDash. I'm just saying. I mean, Gary, if you do, you have a calculator, I'm sure, right by you. If you do 500,000 divided by 5,000, what is it?
100.
It's 100.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't think you could go find dash cams and get a deal because you're getting 5,000, get them for 50?
Oh, I'm sure you can,
especially as a mayor.
Just saying, that right there puts $250,000, not necessarily in his pocket, but into his political campaign.
I doubt it. And that has to go back.
Well, it's an initiative.
Coffers.
It's a district initiative, though. So, and DoorDash donated the money, not the cameras.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest, the best
Re-election,
move
is it a re-election year?
The best thing for DoorDash to do would be to buy the cameras and just write them off.
Yeah.
No question about it. Political campaigns don't let you write off the full amount or whatever this is donated.
It's not going to a political campaign. It's going to the city.
Well, if nobody's corrupt, sure. Tom is assuming politicians are not corrupt, which normally doesn't happen on this show.
No, I know they're all corrupt. I think they're all corrupt. I just the thing about their corruption is that it'll never be this obvious. We'll never get to see it in the light of day.
Right. I just believe that it's not about it's not really an initiative to help drivers. It's a deal being made between the city of DC and DoorDash. It's nothing to do with the safety of drivers.
That I agree.
Because the other part I'm going to throw down here is like, I know I have a display ride, a free camera, but you have to pay a monthly service fee. If you go buy a cloud uploading camera, they are much more than $100. So they're not going to give you a cloud one.
It actually balances out, Steve. Like I looked it up. To get a cloud-based camera for the 2-year agreement from Display Rides is the same amount as if you went and bought your own camera and just paid cash for it.
Right. I guess the thing is if anything happens to the Display Ride camera, they send you a new one.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not your dime. If like you go buy one and somebody grabs it that first night and runs with it, you just lost your money.
Yeah, because
the one thing about Display Ride is there's no cost on the camera itself. The camera's free. You just have to sign up for the service
for 2 years.
Yeah, but if you send in all honesty, I've talked to him enough. I know him. I have a free camera, and to be honest, like if you send it back, that's the main thing that they want. Like if you send it back, they'll take you off the contract. They'll kill it. They just had people not sending it back. And not that it's worth a ton of money when you see them like little plastic thing. But it does work. I mean, it works well.
I mean, any dash cam work though.
No, but I mean, I like now they've done some changes since you had it, Gary. Like now there's a 10-minute button, 5 minutes prior, 10 minutes.
I still don't understand why they don't have an app for it. Like,
I don't know.
Like,
but you can push the button and that gets sent to your phone right away, and it's kind of in a 2x mode. But then then the real time mode is emailed to you within 5 minutes. There's a whole process now that if you push that button, you have your information before the police get there. So that when the police get there, you don't even have to talk. You can just be like, look,
Yeah, I just want access to it myself. I don't know. Maybe call me old school.
Yep. You're old school.
I'm an old school driver. I mean, I didn't mind taking my dash cam down and putting it on my backup drive for a couple weeks. Didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Took me 2 minutes to do.
I run both. I run my rear view one and that one.
I don't like your rear view one.
I do because it freaks people out, dude. I don't know if I ever showed. Did I show you?
You did show me that, and I know what it is.
So, like, you guys, it clamps onto the rear view, and then it has these two little cameras. And until I can guarantee you guys that if I didn't tell you and you didn't even think about it, you wouldn't notice the two cameras. But if like you're being loud in the back of the rideshare, I can just push a button and on the rear view, you show up. So it knows I'm watching. I don't even have to speak. I can just be like, and it shows you that I'm recording you. So yeah, don't try and get away with stuff.
He's like, oh, I want to do that. Okay, beep. then he just looks like some perv driver trying to record.
No, it's just if they're doing things I don't like and it's late, I don't want to yell at them. I don't, dude. It's usually no words at all. In fact, they're being loud. I just push that button, and within a half a second, they see it and they all shut up.
Oh, see, mine. I always had the display turned on mine, anyways.
Yeah, I know.
So
I only did it with bad passengers.
With bad passengers.
Yeah,
they're all potentially bad. They're all potentially bad.
Yeah, they're out there.
All right. Hey, we got our final break coming up here, so let's do that. Come back and wrap it up. You've been listening to TNCradio.live. Also simulcasting on YouTube, the Rideshare Rodeo channel. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay right there. All right, guys.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found MAXYMO, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. MAXYMO will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. MAXYMO will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, MAXYMO will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, MAXYMO will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out MAXYMO at www.maxymoapp.com.
Gary.
Who did your voiceover for that, Gary? For that ad?
I'm
Gary,
sorry?
Who
What?
did the voice- who did
I
the
just played
voiceover?
your ad. He was asking who does the voice. I think it's part of the app, right?
Yeah, it's just a voiceover. No, I pay somebody to do voiceovers. So,
Well, next time you need that, let me know. I've got a whole staff of voice experts. So,
Dude, can we need Tom needs to do mine. If I write it, will he do it?
you want Bob? You mean Bill? You want Bill to do yours?
Bill, yeah.
I can Bill. Bill. Remember, we got all sorts of people. We got a new one that makes me sound like a little girl.
Yeah, but But Bill's a part of my life.
Whatever you want. No problem. No problem. All right. 1 minute before we come back, and then we got about 4 minutes before we wrap up.
I wasn't talking about the crackheads, Tony. That was Gary.
No, that wasn't
maybe
me.
I was.
I didn't say no. You said that's how you get crackheads, is going through Uber to rent a car.
Right.
That's how you get the everyday users. Hey, when's the new TNC radio app coming out?
Delayed. Probably another month.
Oh, you know, Gary'sApps.com don't do that. Delay stuff.
Well, out of my hands. Out of my hands.
He's dropped hints to you, Tom. Like, talk to him off air about the app.
Getting there. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCradio.live. Happy to have you here with us on a Friday evening, wrapping things up. I'm so glad that you've been with us tonight, talking all things in the gig economy. So let's go around the room here real quick. Gary, any last words from you?
Nah, I mean, if you haven't checked out the Gig Wars app, go download it, join a war, start a war, go have some fun.
Absolutely. We don't have enough fun. No, that's a good thing to do, to have fun. Steve, how about you?
Yeah. GigCon, August 4th, Denver. Pedro's event. It's happening, and then and that's a Friday. And then on Saturday, the 5th of August, from 12 to 2, we have quite the event lined up. And Tom, all jokes aside, when you asked last week, yes, you are very much invited. I would love it if you come up.
Okay.
Because that one's going to be an actual town hall with people who make laws and who shot down some legislation that absolutely, if we're making laws with numbers attached to them, this shouldn't have been shot down. We need to all sit down and talk about this. I know if you're thinking that doesn't sound like my cup of tea, it will be. Curry is on board 100%. They are going to have banners there. They're going to be doing things for people. I don't know what that means, wink, wink. So maybe if you're not, maybe if you're on that horrid waiting list, show up.
But that's not the only thing, though. If that's not your cup of tea, though, right after that is a scavenger hunt.
Right. But you can do that without going to this. But I'm trying to get. I'm telling people you really do want to be at this, because you might even think I'm not going to say anything, but you don't know till you're there, because it's a town hall. It's not.
I'm saying go to both. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying go to both.
Yeah.
I mean,
so all those details will be all later.
I think there's food too, right?
Yeah. So the Saturday event's booked, you guys. It's at a place called Wash Park Grill in Denver, 12 to 2. And I know the manager there well, and we'll be working out the details with her. But they've got food, they've got drinks. I don't know what kind of deals. Like Curry offered to buy everybody's first drink.
Cool.
I mean, and then they're going to put all this signage up. They're going to be doing things for people. So I only invited Curry and Dumpling, by the way, because they are the only two. And Dumpling's not so much about the transparency, but being your own business. But Curry's the only fully transparent company to this day that I can still say, okay, like, this is no BS. This is always what the pay is. And so I invited them. 2 of their main people live here in Colorado, and it'll be an event. So
very cool. All right. Hey, lots of things going on with the station these days. You're always invited to join us for all sorts of things. But right after this program, as I mentioned at the very beginning, called 32 Truckers a Day. That's the number of truckers a day who attempt suicide. We want to bring that number down. And part of that, beside doing things to help them out, to make their lives a little bit easier, is also to have a little fun from time to time. And that's part of what we're up to tonight. So tonight we're going to have some fun voting on deciding what is the most annoying song of all time, not counting anything that Steve would think of.
Bye-bye, Miss American Pie.
Yeah, okay. So so with that in mind, I'm going to pop over there, and you'll be able to listen to us on TNCradio.live. Would love to have you all join us there. So feel free to jump in and say hello. We'd like to welcome you over there. So if you're not a TikTok user, you don't have to be. You can just listen in and enjoy what's going on. So with that, anything else? We all good?
Oh, that's a week.
Hello, everybody there that was on the
Radio
YouTube.
and YouTube.
Appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys making me realize it's great to see your comments, and you help keep us honest, and we appreciate that.
Did the Elmo song make the list?
The Elmo song is not on there, but we'll have an opportunity to add some songs in here.
The Elmo song's almost unfair though, because the Elmo song is like your kid pulling a string 1,000 million times just so you're just ready to blow Elmo's head off.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not the same. But okay.
All right. Sounds good, guys. You take it easy, and we will see you back here next Friday night on TNCradio.live. Stay tuned.
Later, guys.